What's up, Dallas Cowboys fans? Welcome into another edition of the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz podcast right here on FanStream Sports. It is Monday. Good early morning Monday to you as we wake up and we are, boys and girls, just days away from the start of training camp and football season officially. Is football season officially back when we start training camp? I think maybe it could be. Or do we have to wait till preseason, or do we have to wait till the regular season? When do you consider football season to be back? That can be one of our topics of discussion, I guess. Hit me up on social media at IndyCarTim. Pretty much everywhere you can find anything about social media, or leave me a comment under the video in the YouTube comment section, whether you're watching on our FanStream Sports Dallas channel or the official FanStream Sports Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz YouTube channel, or our good buddies over there at the Fish Report YouTube channel. We welcome you guys in this morning as well. You're always very supportive and in on this thing. But today I thought we're going to talk about the biggest gamble the Dallas Cowboys are taking this season. It's not Dak Prescott. It's not George Pickens. It's not Tyler Guyton. It's not even if the Cowboys have enough talent to contend this year. The biggest gamble is whether Christian Parker can take a defense that's filled with a bajillion new faces, even guys here facing new roles, and a whole new set of expectations for this thing, and make it functional before the season starts. Because this is not a small adjustment. Christian Parker's not walking into Dallas and just changing a few coverages and leaving a bunch of it alone. This is a brand new defensive identity, a new terminology. There's new communication. There's obviously new expectations. And he's doing it as a first-time defensive coordinator on a team that does not exactly operate in a low-pressure environment. Welcome to Dallas, coach. No pressure. The Cowboys could enter the season with several different new defensive starters working in entirely new roles than what they had a year ago. And that means the defense won't have the luxury of relying on any kind of continuity. There is no continuity here. The continuity is gone. And that's a good thing, honestly. This thing is going to have to create chemistry, and it's going to have to create it very, very quickly. And that's where the excitement and the danger all lie here. You've got Quinnen Williams, of course, in the middle, capable of disrupting an offense before a play even has time to develop. You've got Kenny Clark, another proven interior guy who understands how to control the line of scrimmage. He's done it before. He's going to have to do it again. Now you've got Rashan Gary coming off the edge. You've got young pass rushers like Donovan and Ezeiruaku to take the next step in their careers. You've got DeMarvion Overshown, who's got speed, and he's got range, who can completely change the personality of the linebacker room when he's healthy. And, of course, you've got maybe the biggest name on defense and the newest, Caleb Downs, that is arriving with the kind of expectations normally reserved for already established Pro Bowl players. There's talent everywhere. But talent alone, as we know, does not make a defense good. It's all about communication. It's all about discipline. It's all about trust. And that's what Christian Parker has to build in a very short amount of time. And fans love the phrase aggressive defense. It sounds great. Blitzes, disguised coverages, exotic fronts, quarterbacks looking confused, defenders lying around, making plays. That's the dream. But there's another side to aggressive defenses. When the communication isn't right, aggression can become chaos. One corner thinks he has help over the top. The safety thinks the corner is carrying the route. The linebacker follows motion in the wrong direction. And suddenly a receiver is standing in the end zone all alone while 11 Cowboys are standing around pointing at each other. We saw enough of that last year. So the challenge for Parker isn't simply to build a clever system. It's building one that his players can execute at full speed, because NFL offenses aren't going to wait for Dallas to get comfortable. They're going to use motion. They're going to change tempo. They're going to force the Cowboys to communicate before the play snaps. And they're going to make every effort to create chaos and confusion in this very new Dallas Cowboys defense. And they should. That's their job. And when opponents find a weakness, they're not going to stop attacking it until the Cowboys can prove that they can answer it. And that's why training camp matters so much. The Cowboys have got to find somebody who can communicate, who can process the information very quickly, who can adjust when the offense changes formations, who can get everybody lined up, who can recognize a problem before the ball is snapped. And those responsibilities don't make highlight reels, but they often decide whether a defense survives a third down. And right now, the linebacker room might be the most important game, part of that game experiment. DeMarvion Overshown has proven that he can be a difference maker. His athleticism jumps off the screen. We have talked about him time and time again this offseason. He can run, he can blitz, he can chase plays from sideline to sideline. He can do everything. He brings all that energy that changes the feel of a defense. But Dallas can't build around the healthiest and most explosive version of Overshown without preparing for the possibility that he's not going to always be available. So then that means D. Winters, Jaishawn Barham, Shamar James, and the rest of that linebacker group has to have somebody else that can prove that they can take meaningful defensive snaps. Barham may be one of the most interesting players in camp for me. He's got the size, the athleticism to line up inside, to attack. And that versatility could make him a valuable part of Parker's defense. That's why they drafted him. But versatility only matters if a player understands the assignment. A rookie who can do 5 things physically but hesitates mentally will be a liability in this defense. Parker has to find the balance between using Barham creatively and giving him too much too soon, confusing him. Then we have the secondary. This is supposed to be Parker's specialty. His background with defensive backs is one of the reasons the Cowboys were attracted to him, and Dallas desperately needs that expertise to come through. The Cowboys have intriguing talent in the secondary, but they've also got questions involving health, depth, communication, and experience. And that puts enormous pressure on newcomer Caleb Downs. Downs might have the instincts to make an immediate impact. He might become the quarterback of the secondary faster than he should, faster than he needs to, faster than he wants to, maybe faster than anyone expected him to. But Dallas can't ask a rookie safety to erase every mistake happening in front of him. That's not development. That's desperation. The entire defense has to function as one unit. The defensive line must win early. The linebackers have to fit the run correctly. The corners have to understand their leverage. The safeties have to communicate the coverage. And everybody has to know what changes when an offensive scheme sends a player in motion. And it sounds simple, but it really isn't. Maybe it doesn't sound so simple. Especially when the Cowboys are once again changing defensive coordinators. And that's another part of this story that shouldn't be ignored. Dallas has cycled through defensive philosophies, different voices, different systems. And at some point, constant change becomes part of the problem in Dallas. Players need continuity. They need time to master something instead of constantly learning something new from year to year. They need to know what the organization wants to become. So Parker isn't here just trying to improve the defense. He is trying to stop the revolving door. If this works, Dallas may have found a young defensive coordinator it can build around for several seasons before he gets snatched up to be a head coach somewhere. If it fails, the Cowboys could be back in the same position next year talking about another overhaul, another new voice, and another wasted season for Dak Prescott. And that's why this feels bigger than just a normal coordinator change. We know the offense will be capable of scoring points. Dak Prescott has all the weapons. The offensive line has young talent. The running game has options, but none of that is going to matter if Dallas's defense can't protect the lead. And Dallas can get off the field defensively after a 3rd and long. Can the defense stop giving up explosive plays? Can it tackle? Can it create pressure without having to send 6 guys every time? Those are the questions Christian Parker's going to have to answer, and we won't get all of those answers from a press conference. We'll get a little bit when the pads come on August 3rd. It's right around the corner. And I want to see if this defense looks fast or if it looks confused. That's one of the things I'm looking for in training camp. I want to see if the linebackers attack or if they hesitate. I want to see if the secondary disguises coverages, moves around a lot, or if it just disguises its own uncertainty. And I want to see if Christian Parker builds the scheme around the players he has rather than forcing players to fit into roles that they don't fit. That's what good coordinators do. They don't prove they're the smartest person in the stadium. They identify what their players do well and force the opponent to deal with it. If Quinnen Williams is your best interior disruptor, create one-on-one matchups for him. If Rashan Gary is your biggest edge threat, move him around and make the protection find him. Use the talent, hide the weakness, and make the system simple enough so that players can attack without thinking themselves out of a play. That's the balance Christian Parker has to find. Complex enough to confuse opposing quarterbacks, but simple enough to not confuse your own players. So what's my prediction in all of this? My prediction is that we will have some very ugly moments very early on. And I don't mean just training camp. You almost have to have those. New starters, a new system, new roles. That does not become a finished product in a couple of months of training camp and preseason. But the ceiling of this defense is way, way higher than it was a year ago. The defensive line still has power. The secondary has intriguing pieces. The pass rush has multiple options. And Parker's background gives Dallas a legitimate reason to believe the coverage can improve. The question now is how fast all of this stuff comes together. The Cowboys can't spend half the season learning on the job. They have to be competent in September, not perfect, and they need to become dangerous by October so that this entire thing can be trusted when the games get serious in November and December. So, Cowboys Nation, here's your question for you. What if the Cowboys season isn't decided by Dak Prescott and the offense at all? What if it comes down to whether Christian Parker can turn this collection of talented pieces into one real defense before week 1? Is this the beginning of a Cowboys defensive revolution? Or are we just watching another Cowboys defense look impressive on paper and then fall apart on the field on Sundays? I think we're about to find out. Drop your comment in your answer in the comments there. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications for more Dallas Cowboys news, rumors, and unapologetic analysis. I'm IndyCarTim. This is the Dallas Cowboys Daily Blitz right here on FanStream Sports. And remember, a complicated defense can fool an opposing quarterback, but first, it has to stop fooling itself. We'll do it all again tomorrow, boys and girls. Until then, we'll see you.